inner light is already inside us on a higher plane of existence. It is the light which is beyond your chakras, the light beyond the prism of the energy body, and our chakras are the 7 rainbow colors, the energy vortexes. So the inner light is shining from behind. It is always there, but not accessible before the chakras are purified and cleansed. So every being has a chakra system, and once the chakras come into balance and once they're purified, there is the opening of your inner energy, inner fountain flowing up your spine. It is called Shakti or Kundalini energy. It is already flowing in every spine of yours, but before the spiritual awakening, it is very mild. You generally call it sleeping. It is flowing, but very, very mildly, unnoticeably, and in a very small amount. So when we purify our energy centers and our chakras, we attain the inner balance so that the Shakti, the Kundalini may rise up our spine as a fountain of light, as a fountain of light, as a fountain of youthfulness, as a fountain of rejuvenation. The inner light awakening is the first major spiritual awakening, which then matures into the inner love, into the adulthood, into the I am presence, leading to enlightenment itself. So your spines are playing a crucial role in your spiritual journey, in being able to sustain the light. Your spine and brain is a receptor, is a receiver and transmitter of the universal consciousness. So when the inner light awakens, your spine attains a certain amount of purity so that it can sustain the flow of light as a fountain of youth. And therefore it can connect with the higher consciousness with all your energy centers, your chakras. This fountain of light is the fountain of youth, is the fountain of rejuvenation and recovery. When the light activates in your spine, rising up from the root, rising up to the crown, this light rejuvenates all your body, all your chakras, all your meridian centers, and your physical organs. This light heals and recovers your body. It activates the natural inner healing capacity of your body. This is why the symbol of pharmacy, if you remember, it is the inner column with the 2 coiling serpents, which represent the helix and the two primal energies circulating around the spinal cord. The symbol is very ancient, coming from Greek, coming from actually Egypt, even tracing back to Atlantis itself. So the symbol already signifies that you have the inner capacity to heal. The inner light is the activation of the inner healing. And therefore, from that point onwards, your body will have the intelligence to tell you what is best for itself, how to raise and sustain a higher vibration, how to allow the energy to flow harmoniously, and therefore to harmonize your emotional and mental states and attain the spiritual love and the spiritual peace and bliss. So the inner light awakening is the most important step towards your spiritual awakening, consciousness awakening, and also the inner healing awakening. With the awakening of the inner light, you attain a connection with your higher self. The higher self is you who is in heaven. It is your angelic self and the source of wisdom. So the higher self knows all your past lives, it knows the present life, it knows the future lifetimes. Through the higher self, generally speaking, it is your inner guru. The awakening of your inner light and connection with your higher self is connecting with your inner guru. So you start receiving all the knowledge, all the answers and guidance from within. The higher self in a higher dimension is the I am presence. Going even up, it's your soul. Going even up, it's the causal body. And coming out of the universe, it is the truth body and the absolute body of the pure consciousness. So you are a multidimensional being, having the physical body, the astral etheric body, the higher self, the I am presence, your soul, the causal body, truth body, divine body, and the absolute self as the pure consciousness. When we meditate, we resonate with different places, with different altitudes of vibrations, and therefore we have so many different experiences. Therefore, there is the map of spirituality to gain the clarity of where your meditation is leading you. Also to know what is the next step. Also to know how to overcome the current obstacles. The inner light awakening is the awakening of inner wisdom, and from that moment your life transforms to be lived in light. The main process for the inner light awakening is to heal and transform the negativity, the fear and the darkness, the heaviness. So everybody has the inner scale of the balance, the negativity, fear, heaviness, and the inner light. At first, the heaviness, the energetic heaviness, and the fear is predominant. and the inner light is dormant. As we do the practices, we tip the scales to reach the equilibrium, and then we tip the point so the inner light opens up. And from that point onwards, the light is stronger than the dark, the love is stronger than the fear. From that point onwards, you live in light and love. And that becomes permanent way of living. So this awakening is not only physical, it's not only psychological, it's the consciousness awakening. What are the practices? What are the ways to awaken the inner light? First of all, it's your physical body, to eat less meat, to become vegetarian, to eat the super nutritional foods that support the aliveness and the higher vibrational energy within you. So your diet is very important in this process for the physical body to reduce the heaviness and to support the higher vibration. The second main practice is the daily pranayamas, the daily breathing exercises to accumulate more life force energy, the chi, prana, life force energy. So that should be a daily practice, constantly without interruptions, to continuously build up the life force energy within you. And the third key practice is the 5 Tibetan rites, which allows you to awaken your chakras, your energy centers, which tremendously assists you in moving the inner light and the pranic energy up and down your spine. So the pranayama helps you to accumulate more life force energy. The 5 Tibetan rites allows to move that pranic energy into your chakras and through your spine. And as an additional last practice, to do the additional chakra meditations. 5 Tibetan rites in themselves already activate your chakras and move the kundalini up and down your spine. And additionally, as an extra bonus, you could even do more chakra meditations, ideally to work with all your chakras, starting from the root, going up to the crown. So this way, with the right nutrition, with the right high vibrational diet, by doing daily pranayamas, by doing daily 5 Tibetan rites, and additionally the 7 chakra meditations, they will prepare you day by day, step by step, towards the inner light awakening, towards the inner fountain awakening, the awakening of your divine Shakti energy. At the beginning, of course, it's a practice. Your body might be heavy, your body might be slow, it might be hard to get into the practice, but then first week, second week it becomes easier, third week becomes even easier, in a month it becomes natural, and in a matter of the time that your body needs, you will accumulate and build up the energies to the extent to tip that scale fully into the light. And this is where your inner fountain will open. This is where the Shakti energy will rise up, and it needs to rise up right to the top. So many times when I see people in meditation, many times their Shakti rises and it stops somewhere, perhaps in the solar plexus or the heart or the throat. These are the usual centers where it stops. And the purpose is, if you feel that the energy accumulates and stops at particular chakra, is to do additional some blessings coming our way. It's to do additional meditation to know that the energy needs to rise even higher. So if you feel that the energy accumulates in the solar plexus, you can do an additional breathing exercise to bring it up to the heart. If it stops in your throat, do additional exercise to bring it up to the crown. So this way you will make sure that the obstacles are cleared and then the energy flows up. So these are the practices that you can learn, that we teach, and that you can do daily at home. And of course, the safest way, the best way is with the assistance of a teacher, that when the time is right, that the teacher assists you in your kundelini opening, in your Shakti energy opening. This is the safest way and most sustainable way, and it requires a certain readiness. So at first, step number one is to learn the practices, is to do those practices, and then with the teacher, when you feel ready, to actually receive that assistance for the opening. Because the teacher will further support your energy flow. What I do is I also protect your energy field, that there's no interference, and that the energy flow and awakening is as easy as possible. And when the awakening happens, so that if it's too strong, to make it softer and milder, if it's too low, to boost it up a little bit more, so that you have the perfect balance of the opening of the inner light. So this is the process of the inner light awakening, of the fountain of youth, the fountain of light, rising up your energy centers and your spine. So that covers all the practices necessary in the 400s of the map of spirituality. In addition to that, there are practices with your higher self to connect more and more with your higher self, because your higher self is you, who is in spirit behind you. You may say physically he or she is always behind you, but in spirit. And therefore you can do certain meditations to feel and strengthen that connectedness. And a very important practice is the observation practice, where you step behind yourself into the space behind yourself, and you continuously observe the flow and the stream of your mind. So that is the practice with the higher self. And then follows the further steps of the inner love awakening into the 500s. So now you understand the importance of the inner light awakening, because everything before that is a preparation and it's a purification. So the 300s are mainly about preparation, emotional release, letting go, acceptance, forgiveness, transcendence, so that everything prepares you for that first, most important inner light awakening. And from that point onwards, when the inner light awakens, then you are already connected with a higher consciousness. And then your spiritual path, your journey through consciousness opens up. A whole new way of living in light opens up. And this is the light that Jesus was speaking about, that this light will reveal all the things that are hidden. It will reveal all the truth. It will show you the way, and it will bring you to the heaven. So that is the inner light which serves as a bridge to the heaven.